You guys been wanting me to change the theme song sound quality, but I'm gonna keep the same song, so here we go. This girl reviews movies, games, and books. Just how she plays them, and she does that. She does it with the cat. Does that make her crazy? Does that make her crazy? Probably. Hopefully that fixed the audio. Crazy Cat does not own any of these pictures or books or pictures. I use them under fair use for educational purposes, so the people who watch them learn a little bit something when they do it. Hopefully that fixed the audio. I only did all those years ago. No, I don't want to do this. I'm scared of this thing. Please move it. Hi, everyone, Martha here, and I have the power! I know this ain't the right type of sword, but it'll work. And this one's actually a real sword, unlike the one they sell at the theater. I mean, it's dull, but it's a real sword. I don't usually show you guys that one's Zelda's sword, but it's I wanted to show you since this is technically a He-Man story, even though that's Zelda's sword. So I did see both. I've now seen both of these movies, and I did watch the original 80s show when I was a kid, and She-Ra. And I don't know if this is the same as that universe, but to me they're very similar, except for a real little kid version of it, Rainbow Bright. But I do like this. This movie was fine for what it was. So spoilers ahead. And here we go. This movie starts off with him being a little kid and him training with Duncan and with Styx and with Teela, and his dad comes in and interrupts him to show him how to be a real man by him trying to protect himself. And the last time we sees Cringer and his mom, Cringer, is when he leaves to go and train. He thinks his mom and his dad might be dead when the sorceress gives him the sword that turns him into He-Man. After when Skeletor and his army attacks the castle, he's only there to find the sword and have his parents witness and see him roll. And then he ends up trying to go after Adam, because Adam ends up leaving with the sword, but it takes him 15 years to find the sword, where he's an adult and working at some type of a job that inspires you to be better, and he doesn't like working there, so he wants to find his sword, which is like in a comic book store. It says it's a different person, but I don't know. It's kind of reminds me of Arnold Schwarzenegger when he played a conqueror guy. So that remind me of that statue, even though I don't think it's him. And he steals the sword from that thing, and he ends up getting arrested and taken to jail. And then this is when earlier we did see the He-Man who played him in 1987 at a gym, trying to inspire him. So I did like seeing him there. A cute cameo. Then we got technically another cameo from a meme where they sing the "What's Up" song that is technically in, for some reason, it's plays in the trailer of Street Fighter. So I guess it would be given a spoiler if it did play in one of these trailers to this. And we see this big monster thing coming to get the sword from Adam, because Adam said, I want to go home, instead of saying, I have the power. He forgot the words. And then Teela comes and tries to take him home with the ship to save Eternia, after nobody in our Earth thinks that he's telling the truth. Even his roommate thinks he's crazy and thinks he's lying. And I like the fact that he brings him the attorney had to prove him wrong at the end of the movie, and then he ends up going to take to find out his parents were both still alive. Skeletor kept them alive, I guess, long enough to see at least his dad die and make it be technically his fault. He did turn into He-Man before that and defeated Jaw-Man for him, and then he showed all these different characters that were from the show that and explained why he named them that, but I guess they weren't really named that. He just named them that himself since he was 10 years old and when he left, and he came up with all these different names for these characters. The thing is that he does keep his personality as Adam, and even when he is a He-Man, so he doesn't change his personality, which it does supposed to make him stronger. But I think he should stay somewhat of himself when he comes in, so he doesn't lose his whole self when he turns. But he did get stronger. Though I do understand why some people might not like this. The fact that he turned into He-Man he doesn't turn, like, his personality doesn't change. Like, it does in some versions of it. Like, the 2003 one, it did change his personality. But in the original one, the one I grew up with, he did have the same personality that he did when he was Adam. So, I don't know, it's pretty close to what I kind of grew up with. But if you guys grew up with the 2003 one, it would not be the same personality. Skeletor, even though it's an actor that we don't like, he does do a great job doing Skeletor. I can definitely see, even though it's not the same voice, he does act like the one from the 80s version and a little bit from the 2003 version that I saw. So, and as long as he has where he wants to have the sword and but can't get it because he's not Adam. It's not his. And the fact that he makes some jokes every now and then, it's pretty funny. And the fact that at the very end of the movie, He-Man's trying to get him to be good, and he says, basically, no, I'm evil. I'm staying evil. Deal with it. So yeah. But the fact that he does act like a baby at one point is, I want that sword! I'll get you, He-Man! Give me back my sword! I want that sword! So, the fact that he can't, even though he doesn't say that voice, but he kind of sounds, yes, the attitude of him. That's what I do like about this version of, even though we don't like Jared Leto, at least, who knows, this could be his last movie we've seen him in, but I'm happy they did not really put him in the marketing. So you can't go in this movie unless you knew who's playing whom, and not know that's him, since we never see Jared Leto's face. He is Skeletor the whole entire time, like he is when he played, if you guys seen the Haunted Mansion movie that came out a couple of years ago, he was just the box ghost. You didn't see his face there, but he used the same voice there too, so it kind of did remind me of that performance. Except for, I think that guy was a little more menacing than this one. But Skeletor can be a little bit menacing every now and then, but sometimes he has to be a jokester and remember who he is at heart. So, yeah. And I do like that Evilus was somewhat flirting with him in this movie, because, yeah, and she's... Even when He-Man ends up beating him at the very end of the movie, she goes back and gets him, and they do have a reference to they do have the little wizard guy at the very end of the movie, and they also have She-Ra. We see her back in her front, so because they did. I was like the Queen says, I hope we can bring both of them home, and I guess she comes back from where she's from, where she got kidnapped when she was a baby in the cartoon. Because I did watch a little bit of it to refresh my memory before this, but I haven't got to the part where she turns into it, so I can't really do a history of that show until then. Like I did the 80s version. And then when you come across Battle Arms, the one who ends up losing to Jaw Guy, he's like a drunk, basically, because he's ashamed of him losing that fight, because he blames himself for what happened. Even He-Man losing his dad the way he did, he blames himself. He thinks all of it is his fault, so he wants to get drunk to punish himself, pretty much, until he beats the jaw guy. So what he does do a good job actually beating him. Yay! But he was blaming himself for what happened, and then they go back and He-Man ends up technically doing the blow against his will that kills his dad. But his dad got to see him actually fight and stand up and be a man, somewhat. But he ends up getting captured and turned back into Adam. And he gets to see his mom and Cringer, yay! Which makes me a little bit disappointed that we don't have to see Battle Cat at the end of the movie. It would have been nice to see Battle Cat, see Cringer get his armor when they go and fight Skeletor, but what are you gonna do? It's showing that Cringer is facing his fears by fighting without the armor. I guess you can say that. Skeletor ends up breaking his sword while Tila fights Evilus instead. And I guess Cringer is fighting the beast that went after them earlier. So Skeletor breaks the power sword. He has it for a little while, but he says, I have the power, but he doesn't this is what I would say his voice sounds like to me. I have the power. Like that. But no, but it's a little bit more deeper. That I would probably try to do if I was doing a Skeletor voice, or I have the power! Like that. So, because those are my evil voices. But he's not able to do it because he's not Adam. So he tries to go and kill him, figure out why he can do it. But he did go to Castle Grayskull there and try to figure out how to do it. Evilus is going to do it that way. But even if he breaks... But Skeletor, goes inside at He-Man's head and finds out and shows him the world he was before he came back, and tries to kill his self-esteem, you can say, by making it look like it's a dream. By see him at the gym, then he sees him as at the restaurant. He's in all different outfits, and then he goes to his job and he's dressed up as an office person. But he's trying. Pretty much, I think he's trying to kill his self-esteem. He can feel bad before he kills him with the torn-up sword. We have the sorceress as an eagle trying to remind him, you don't need the sword. You are the power. So, and that makes the sword come back together. And he ends up beating, but he tries to talk Skeletor from fighting him. Skeletor says, nope, I'm still evil. Sorry. I'm still evil. I don't care what you say to me. I'm still evil. Which, thank you. We need a villain like that. That is still just evil because he wants to be. I miss those villains. Can we have those villains that are just evil because they want to be? They don't have a reason to be evil. They just want to be. So, okay. He ends up getting beat up by him still, but not without the sword, though, because he just punches him like it's a freaking video game. Knockout! Dope! Ends up beating him, and but I think he made a mistake here by leaving the head. He should have broken the skull. Because I guess Evilus goes back and gets it, and we hear him do his laugh. But they do end up winning, and He-Man gets on Cringer and turns into Battle Cat. But yeah. But I think this is a 7 for me. That's what I would give it. So, yeah. I think I picked a better choice than go and watch stupid scary movie. I might have got offended if I watched that movie instead, because I don't like those type of movies. If I was going to watch a movie that's a spoof movie, I would probably pick one of the movies that was made before the Wayne Brothers movies, like Men in Tights. I don't mind watching Spaceballs 2 if I have to instead. So I'll see you guys later. Like, here, and describe a number. You have the power. What did we learn today, kids? That if you have a big sword in your hand, you are a good guy. If you're a skeleton, you're a bad guy, unless you're Brooke. Or Jack. So, yeah. I mean, that's what I say. If you're like Skeletor, you're a bad guy. If you're like Brooke or Jack, you're a good guy. And you're a skeleton. So that's what I would say you learned today. So, like, favorite, and subscribe, guys, and bye-bye. And like 90% of you guys are not subscribed to me, so I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.
That's it. I finished.
Of course, my lord.
When I raise my fist like that, I'm done.
Yes.
That is the crescendo.
We'll know for the future, my lord.